There was a lot of conversation always about what you were wearing, how you looked, the thing that happens to a lot of women, especially if they're the first in a position. So how do you feel about that, the whole?
Well, it's pretty irritating, actually, because nobody ever describes what a man is wearing.
He says a big part of the reason for the coming Republican resurgence is because of their attractive candidates. Literally, so-called sexy Republican women might be driving more people to the polls.
She did what so many working moms wish they could do. She brought her daughter, nestled in a sling, just 6 weeks old, to her workplace, which just happens to be the European Parliament, where she is a member from Italy.
Soccer moms, because the soccer moms are suddenly so concerned about federal spending eating up their children's inheritance, they've lost the soccer moms because they can't find a single candidate who looks like one.
Star men by saying outrageous things, women by saying outrageous things who are, tend to be sort of semi-attractive.
When a French member of the European Parliament was criticized for returning to work 5 days after giving birth, she said a woman should be free to decide for herself how soon to return.
I stood next to President Obama as the Marines carried those flag-draped caskets off the plane at Andrews. I put my arms around the mothers and fathers, the sisters and brothers, the sons and daughters, and the wives left alone to raise their children.
We saw your boobs. We saw your boobs. In the movie that we saw your boobs. Meryl Streep, we saw your boobs in Silkwood. Naomi Watts in Mulholland Drive.
Male athletes have been portrayed as athletes. And female athletes have been portrayed partly as athletes and partly as beings who inhabit a certain set of social roles because of their gender.
Pretty fit, good looking.
Very flexible.
Quite well kept.
Quite thin, good, nice looking.
She's quite pretty. She does look athletic, a little bit.
Athletic, fast. Strong.
Big muscles, good torso.
He's the fastest man in the world, looks pretty athletic, strong.
Guys, especially in Hollywood, don't get the same treatment that Taylor has, and she is calling people out on sexism, saying that their criticism of her and her dating life is sexist. I think she has a very valid point.
The numbers tell the story quite clearly. 190 heads of state, 9 are women. Of all the people in parliament in the world, 13% are women. In the corporate sector, women at the top, C-level jobs, board seats, tops out at 15–16%. The numbers have not moved since 2002 and are going in the wrong direction.
Even by the ultimate boys' club where equal work does not require equal pay, at least according to the Republicans in the Senate, who yesterday voted down the Paycheck Fairness Act, legislation that sought to close the wage gap, a woman's 77 cents to a man's $1.
Ultimately, it's the woman who feels like if she spends too much time at the office, she's being inadequate in the parenting department. And as a result, I think that it's harder for a lot of women to fully commit to careers that are incredibly demanding.
Who takes care of the babies?
That's fine.
What is it with all of these young, single, white women, overeducated? Doesn't mean intelligent.
Who goes to work?
This one.
I still think women are expected to do the lion's share of the caregiving in their homes.
Which doll likes to clean the house?
This one.
Well, there's a famous Harvard Business School study on a woman named Heidi Roizen, and she's an operator in a company in Silicon Valley, and she uses her contacts to become a very successful venture capitalist. In 2002, not so long ago, a professor who was then at Columbia University took that case and made it Heidi Roizen. And he gave that case out, both of them, to two groups of students. He changed exactly one word, Heidi to Howard, but that one word made a really big difference. He then surveyed the students, and the good news was the students, both men and women, thought Heidi and Howard were equally competent, and that's good. The bad news was that everyone liked Howard. He's a great guy. You want to work for him. You want to spend the day fishing with him. But Heidi, not so sure. She's a little out for herself. She's a little political. You're not sure you'd want to work for her. This